I am 90 years old. My hands shake when I hold a cup. My daughter visits on Thursdays. She tells me I should rest more, but rest feels too close to the end, and I am not ready yet. I was 7 when the war came to our street. I remember the morning it started. My mother was making bread. The smell filled our kitchen. Then the sirens began, a sound I had never heard before. High and urgent, like the world was tearing. My mother dropped the dough and grabbed my hand. We ran to the cellar. My little sister cried. My mother held her and did not say anything. We stayed down there for hours. I remember the dark. I remember the sound of boots on the street above us. I remember my mother's breathing, fast and shallow. When we came back up, the bread was still on the table. It had risen too much and spilled over the bowl. My mother looked at it for a long time. Then she shaped it anyway and put it in the oven. I think she needed something to do with her hands. My father was not home. He had left 3 days before. He said he would be back soon. He did not tell us where he was going. I heard my mother crying in her room that night, but when she came out, her face was dry. The war was not like the stories I had heard. There were no heroes in our house. There was only waiting. We waited for the sirens to stop. We waited for food. We waited for news. We waited for my father. My mother stopped singing. That is what I remember most. She used to sing while she worked, little songs about birds and rivers. After my father left, the house became silent. Even my sister learned to play quietly. The neighbors stopped talking to each other. Everyone kept their curtains closed. You could feel people watching from behind windows, but no one waved anymore. I became good at being small, at not asking questions, at eating slowly so the food would last longer, at staying quiet when my stomach hurt from hunger. There was a boy on our street named Thomas. He was my age. We used to play together before the war. After it started, I only saw him a few times. Once I saw him carrying water from the well. He looked thin. His mother walked behind him with her head down. We did not say hello. I do not know why. It felt wrong to pretend things were normal. I saw him one more time, months later. He was standing in front of his house. Soldiers were taking things out of the door. Furniture, clothes, blankets. His mother was crying. Thomas stood very still. He looked at me. I looked away. I have thought about that moment for 85 years. The nights were the worst. We could hear planes sometimes, distant explosions. My mother would put her hand over my sister's ears. But you cannot block out fear. It gets inside you anyway. I learned that adults do not know everything. I learned that my mother could be afraid. I learned that my father could disappear. These were hard things for a child to understand. Food became scarce. We ate potatoes and bread, sometimes just broth with nothing in it. My mother gave us her portions. She said she was not hungry. I believed her for a long time. I remember being cold. We burned furniture to stay warm. First the extra chairs, then the small table from the hallway, then my father's bookshelf. My mother cried when we burned the bookshelf. One day a man came to our door. He wore a uniform I did not recognize. He spoke to my mother in a low voice. She closed the door and sat down on the floor. She sat there for an hour without moving. That night she told us our father was not coming home. She did not say he was dead. She did not say anything else, just that he was not coming home. I wanted to ask questions, but her face stopped me. My sister asked when father would come back. My mother said he could not come back. My sister asked why. My mother did not answer. Not all at once, but something closed inside me that day. The war ended eventually. People came out of their houses. There were no celebrations on our street, just people standing in the daylight, looking around like they had forgotten what the sun looked like. The first few weeks after, everything felt strange, too quiet. I kept waiting for sirens at night. I would wake up thinking I heard planes. My mother started singing again, but the songs were different. Slower, she sang like someone remembering something from very far away. Thomas did not come back to our street. I heard later that his family had been taken away. I do not know where. I never saw him again. We tried to return to normal life. My mother found work. I went back to school, but the classroom felt different. Some of the desks were empty. The teacher never mentioned the truth. We just moved our desks closer together. I grew up. I learned a trade. I met a woman. I married her. We had children. I became the age my father had been when he left. But the war stayed with me. I would hear a loud noise and my body would freeze. I would see my children playing and suddenly feel terrified that something would take them away. I would wake in the night with my heart racing, not knowing why. My wife asked me once what I was thinking about. I could not explain it to her. How do you explain that part of you is still 7 years old, sitting in a dark cellar, listening to boots on the street above? I never spoke about the war to my children. They asked me sometimes. I would say I did not remember much. That was not true. I remembered everything. I just could not find the words. When my children grew up and left home, I thought the fear would leave too. It did not. It just became quieter. My wife died 6 years ago. We had 58 years together. When she was gone, I realized how much time I had spent being afraid of losing her, afraid of something taking away what I loved. The war taught me that everything can vanish. One day your father is at the table. The next day he is gone. One day you have a friend. The next day his house is empty. I have lived with that knowledge my entire life. Now I am old. My body is failing. I forget things sometimes. I forget where I put my glasses. I forget what day it is. But I do not forget the war. I remember my mother's face when the man came to the door. I remember the silence in our house. I remember Thomas standing in front of his house, watching his life being carried away. I remember being 7 and learning that the world is not safe. People talk about the war sometimes. They talk about battles and leaders and dates. They do not talk about the children who sat in cellars. They do not talk about the mothers who stopped singing. They do not talk about the boys who disappeared and were never mentioned again. The war was not fought only by soldiers. It was fought by everyone, in kitchens and cellars and silent rooms, in the bodies of children who learned too early that love does not protect you from loss. I think about my father often now. I wonder what he would have been like if he had come home. I wonder if he thought about us at the end. I wonder if he knew how long we waited. My daughter says I should write things down. She says my grandchildren should know these stories, but I do not know how to write about fear. I do not know how to explain what it means to lose your childhood in the space between one morning and the next. What I know now, after 92 years, is that war does not end when the fighting stops. It lives in the people who survive it. It lives in the way they hold their children too tight, in the way they starve awake at night, in the way they cannot trust that tomorrow will come. I know that ordinary moments are miracles. Bread rising in a bowl, a child playing in the sun, a street where neighbors wave to each other. These things are not small. They are everything. I know that when someone you love is sitting next to you, that is the moment, not later, not someday. Now, because I learned when I was 7 that people can vanish between breakfast and dinner, that doors can close and never open again. I think about my mother every day, how she kept us alive, how she made bread even when the world was ending, how she gave us her food and pretended she was full. She died 30 years ago. I still miss her. I think about Thomas. I wonder if he is alive somewhere. I wonder if he remembers me. I wonder if he thinks about the day I looked away. I am 92 years old. I do not have many days left. My body knows this even if my mind does not want to accept it. What I want to say, if anyone is listening, is this. The people you love will not always be there. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you up. Do not wait to call your mother. Do not wait to tell someone you love them. Do not put off the conversation you have been meaning to have. Do not assume there will be time later. I waited my whole childhood for my father to come home. I am still waiting. The war taught me that the world can break in an instant, that everything you think is solid can disappear. That 7-year-old boy is still inside me, listening for sirens. But he also learned something else, something that took me 85 years to understand. The fragile things are the most precious. The quiet morning, the hand that reaches for yours, the voice that says your name. These moments do not last. They were never meant to last. That is what makes them matter. I am 92 years old. I have lived a long life, but I still think about that morning when my mother dropped the bread dough and grabbed my hand. I still hear the sirens. I still see Thomas standing alone in front of his house. The war never left me. It is here, in this room, in these shaking hands, in this old voice. But so is my mother's singing. So is the smell of bread. So is the memory of my wife's laugh. So are my children's faces. So is the sunlight coming through the window right now, falling across my lap.